Hello, my fellow viewers. Welcome to part 4 on my look back on my 2017 vacation to Walt Disney World. The past 2 days of my vacation, as showcased in my previous videos, have most definitely been loaded with magic. First, I fulfilled my lifelong goal at Epcot, then I wandered through a world full of magic at the Magic Kingdom. What's next? I'll tell you what's next. On June 7th, we were heading to a Disney park that was themed to my main passion of all, movies. Yep, we went to Disney Hollywood Studios, and from the moment I set foot in there, I was feeling right at home in this world, extremely looking forward to seeing what Disney-related and movie-related surprises were in store. The amount of surprises that occurred throughout the park immediately began showing themselves when we saw Donald Duck and Daisy Duck greeting guests near the entrance. I had full intention of seeing those ducks again, having really enjoyed my first encounters with them at the Magic Kingdom, but unexpectedly, Donald and Daisy appeared to be scared off when an army of stormtroopers, led by one of the supporting villains of Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy, Captain Phasma, marched through the area. The event of Phasma and her stormtroopers scaring the ducks away looked like a signal for us to get on moving through the park, ending up coming across a Star Wars themed area, where a Star Wars show was going on, showing two people training to become a Jedi, while facing off against foes like Darth Vader and Kylo Ren. That was a cool show. We then went to another cool Star Wars related attraction, a short film called Paths of the Jedi, which is basically an entire recap of the entire Star Wars saga leading up to Episode 7, The Force Awakens. The recap was wonderful to watch, which caused my anticipation for the next installment of the saga, The Last Jedi, which would come out that year, to be increased. And seeing footage and images of the prequel trilogy made me think that despite its infamous reputation, the prequels are still treated with legitimate love and respect, and are treated as an important mark in the whole Star Wars universe. Next, it was the right time for us to get out of the Star Wars world for a little bit and go on a long wander into the real movie world. The perfect way to do that was to go on the main attraction of Hollywood Studios, the Great Movie Ride. Oh my goodness, I loved this ride. It's the pure love letter to anyone who's a full-time film buff. We are taken on a huge ride as we pass over the greatest moments from the greatest films in history, from Singing in the Rain, Mary Poppins, The Public Enemy, Alien, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Casablanca, Fantasia, and The Wizard of Oz, to name a few. The Great Movie Ride was a pure joy for me, and it served as one of the best experiences of the whole vacation, apart from my encounters with Mickey and his friends, of course. As we left the ride, the weather turned wet again, so we took a bit of shelter at a museum attraction called One Man's Dream, an attraction that my friend Grant recommended to me. It was both a great shelter from the rain and was a fantastic museum to walk through. This attraction gave us the opportunity to learn about the history of Walt Disney, all his accomplishments and groundbreaking achievements, seeing them through our own eyes. I think one of Walt's coolest accomplishments we learned about was the fact that he introduced the concept of a feature-length nature documentary, which started in 1948 with a short called Seal Island, which won an Oscar and led to the creation of the True Life Adventures. We also saw exhibits based on recent stuff Disney had done, from the Marvel superhero film Doctor Strange to Pixar's newest film, Cars 3. And yes, I can tell you that one of the first things I've done when I've got back home was see the movie itself when it came out. Cars 3 ended up becoming another great Pixar film. It became my favorite Disney film of 2017, unless you count The Last Jedi as one. That movie was my favorite film of the year in general. Next, we went to see a live show called the Indiana Jones Stunt Show Spectacular, where we literally saw such a stunning show as we are shown the famous scenes of Raiders of the Lost Ark brought to life, with brilliant stunt work from the stunt performers and real-life practical effects shown throughout. If you love the classic Raiders of the Lost Ark and you want to see it in real life with your very own eyes, this is the attraction to go to. Okay. After that, for the first time, we ate at a restaurant at Disney World for lunch. The restaurant was called ABC Commissionary and was based on a channel owned by Disney called ABC, best known for making famous shows like Good Morning America and Grey's Anatomy, and two other famous shows that have just come to an end this year, Modern Family and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Congratulations to those two shows. For the latter show, I can't wait to see its last two seasons. Anyway, at that restaurant, for lunch, I ate a plate full of chicken nuggets and fries. That meal was so fantastic. You got some good food there, Disney World. You got some good food. Going back to my first day at Epcot and meeting Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and Minnie Mouse for the first time, it was the best day of my life. But I had only one regret on that day. I forgot to film that whole magical encounter so Mom could see. That's why I decided that today, if I couldn't record a first encounter with Mickey, I could at least record the second encounter. After lunch, we set out to find Mickey again, and found out that he was at an area called the Red Carpet Dreams, along with Minnie. As we waited in line to meet them, we were entertained with a surprise appearance from Goofy, who kept us entertained as we waited in line. We were so entertained, we could not resist doing a third photo with him, and I couldn't resist revealing to Goofy that I review movies, and I would review his own film, A Goofy Movie, someday when I got back home. Before we saw Mickey, it turns out that ladies always come first, as we met Minnie Mouse for the third time. I again greeted Minnie with a kiss on her hand and a warm hug, and Minnie really liked my shirt with a million Mickeys on it. Then I got to meet Mickey for the second time, who was wearing his Sorcerer's Apprentice getup. In this second encounter, I got the chance to tell Mickey I was from Australia, and Mickey imitated a kangaroo, showing off good knowledge of the home we live in. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised though, as Mickey has come to Australia many times. My second encounter with Mickey Mouse proves to me though, that meeting Mickey is always going to be the #1 best thing to do at Walt Disney World. In fact, with the Star Wars saga having come to an end with a magnificent trilogy, if I ever go back to Disney and meet Mickey again, I'm gonna give him a big hug and thank him for letting me experience this amazing opportunity for Disney to end a legendary saga in their own magical way. My joy of meeting Mickey Mouse can also be felt by this picture here. You wouldn't believe how much I was tempted to get that as a gift. After that amazing second encounter, we decided to take another trip to the galaxy far, far away by going to another standout and all-out magnificent ride, Star Tours The Adventure Continues. The one thing I can say about this ride is that, remember the old Batman Adventure ride at Warner Bros. Movie World? This ride looked similar, but bring in the world and characters of Star Wars and also add in some elements of a 3D movie, and you've got a ride that is amazingly spectacular. Next, we experienced an older attraction that is amazingly spectacular on its own as well, in the form of Muppet Vision 3D, a 3D short film starring the Muppets and their great dose of humor, all gloriously delivered in one of the most spectacular uses of 3D you could ever see. Another signature attraction followed, in the form of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, a ride that really emphasizes the terror in its title, as we are taking on a pleasant little ride on an elevator by dropping faster than the force of gravity down 13 stories, not once, but twice. We topped the day off by going on the rock and roll roller coaster, starring the famous rock band Aerosmith. The rock and roll roller coaster was actually the only ride I was reluctant to go on, as I heard it had loop-de-loops and corkscrews, something I wasn't used to when it comes to rides. But still, I went on it anyway. The ride did have those things I mentioned, although I did come out of the ride smiling. That ride ultimately served as a rocking conclusion to our day at Hollywood Studios as we left shortly after. And as we were leaving, the music that was playing at the entrance was the signature piece of music from the classic Steven Spielberg film, Hook. That movie may not be a Disney film, but its piece of music served as the perfect way to show off our feelings we had on this day. Disney Hollywood Studios was brilliant all the way, with its fantastic rides, entertainment, and other experiences totally delighting the movie buff inside of me. I couldn't see any other day at Disney possibly topping that, but as we are about to learn, our next day at Disney could possibly be wilder than the previous days. Stay tuned.